presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Buffalo. We are Florida.
Oh, beautiful Sunday in South Florida. We've got sun, we've got surf, and baseball. The Reds and the Marlins closed the first half with the roof closed and the AC going on a hot and sticky day inside Marlins Park. And for the Fish, Martin Prado and Miami have taken the first two against the Reds. A chance to sweep here. Cody Reed going for Cincinnati, and Tom Kohler on the mound for the Fish. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz on with Jeff Conine. The Marlins have taken care of business so far. You win a series, everyone likes that. But right now, a chance to sweep and a chance to get to a place, a really nice place, during the All-Star break.
Yeah, the Reds, the third worst record in all of Major League Baseball right now. The Marlins have had their struggles against bad teams, but they're playing well right now. To go in the All-Star break, 6 games over 500 will be big for this team. You
noticed in that shot that Cody Reed, warming up for the Reds, is left-handed. And that's important. The Marlins are the best in baseball against lefty starters. And in particular, one Martin Prado, who had another terrific day yesterday, and I think gets overlooked a lot, is eating lefties alive.
Eating lefties alive. To a 400 average yesterday, 3 for 3, a couple of doubles, a walk, a key component in that Marlins win. And I think could have been a potential All-Star as well.
Yeah, very much deserving. His numbers have been good all year. And, of course, he's the team leader. That was the key double yesterday that drove into a misplay by Bruce, helped along the way. What do the Marlins expect from Tom Kohler today?
Everything they've expected all year long. This is a guy that goes out there every single time and gives the Marlins a chance to win. He'll keep them competitive, keep them in the ball game, and hopefully have a great start on his last one of this first half.
We've determined that Cody Reed is left-handed. What else have you got on him?
He's got some cool glasses. I know that. These are the same glasses he wore that his mom suggested he get in high school. He has not changed them since.
And he's a power lefty. A little fastball and a good slider as well. So, are you ready for this? Marlins are headed to San Diego. 5 of them, 4 in the game, 1 in the home run derby. Fish and Reds. We'll talk All-Star when we get back. Dodge is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. As Tom Kohler strolls in from the bullpen, getting ready to start against the Cincinnati Reds. Last game, first half, a chance to sweep and a chance for the Marlins to go 6 over. Let's head out to center field and Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, thank you, Rich. A lot of talk, and the focus of the baseball world will be starting after the games here in San Diego on the Midsummer Classic. Next year, of course, they'll be talking Miami. And remember those old cool Padre jerseys? They're coming back too. The players that will be representing the Fish were presented with their all-star jerseys, and Stanton the home run derby jersey before the game just a few moments ago. Very cool. Ozuna, Rodney, Jose Ramos, and Giancarlo Stanton. You see the trip to California for Stanton. He'll be participating first in the All-Star Home Run Derby on Monday night, and the other 4 going to the game. Now, about the Derby, he's going to have some assistants, including Marcell Ozuna as his right-hand man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be excited on that too, because everybody knowing he can win the home run derby. I'm gonna be a Bodo guy, bringing tower and everything. Gonna be fun with that.
Ozo said he's going to be your water boy. AJ probably was want to get on that.
Ozo, he's be my water girl. AJ, them all can support too, yeah.
Giancarlo said Ozuna could be his water girl.
Yeah, Ozuna will be good at that. I'll be the towel guy. I'll towel them off, and Ozuna can bring in the water. So.
All right, how much fun are those guys going to have? And it's going to be fun for all of us to watch Monday night, the Home Run Derby, and of course the game on Fox on Tuesday night from San Diego. Right now, the business going after the sweep against the Redlegs. Rich and Niner next.
Florida is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. By Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Lexus of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're going to love us. What a beautiful Sunday in Miami. First half closes. Tom Kohler on his way out. Little hop over the third base line. And ready to take on the Cincinnati Reds, a team he's not faced since 2014. Here come the Reds. Jeff Conine, brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Not much change in the lineup for the Reds. Zach Cozart at shortstop, Billy Hamilton batting second in center field, Joey Votto at first base, batting third, Jay Bruce, an all-star, since yesterday, batting 5th or 4th in right field. Adam Duvall in left field, another all-star for the Reds. Brandon Phillips at second base. Tucker Barnhart will be catching and batting 7th. Ivan De Jesus Jr. in the 8th spot at third base, and batting 9th and pitching Cody Reed.
Tom Kohler, start number 18. You can see the numbers on Kohler. He's had a few issues along the way. Control 1, you see the number of walks, but lately the walks have been down. And his last time out, he pitched very well, and he was in a position to win. He left with a 6-2 lead in New York, having given up 2 solo homers, and the bullpen collapsed. The Marlins lost that ball game by a score of 8-6. But a chance to even his record at 500 in the first half. He gets Zach Cozart, Billy Hamilton, and Joey Votto to begin this ball game on a Sunday in Miami. That is Ben May, young umpire behind the plate, with a strong first strike call. Mike Estabrook, Dana DeMuth, and Ed Hickox on the bases. Kohler misses in. The Marlins in the first 2 games of this series, winners 3-1 and 4-2, have done a nice job of keeping Cozart and Billy Hamilton off base. Breaking ball, knocked down. Prado had it bounce out of his glove, and that's going to be a base hit. Almost a spectacular catch by Prado.
Yeah, you're talking about one of the best defensive third basemen in the National League, maybe in baseball, besides Nolan Arenado over there in Colorado. But that was a hanging breaking ball. Spectacular effort by Martin.
That saves extra bases, and here is Hamilton, the speedy center fielder. Prado's gamer well worn over there. That glove looks like it's been in battles in New York, in Arizona, in Atlanta, and all places in between. Hamilton, liner, Echeverria got it. Wow. Well, first Prado had to lay out, and Echeverria does him one better. He holds on to this one.
What a spectacular catch by Etch. Catch by Etch. Wow, that's an extension right there too. Last night we saw him make a spectacular leaping grab with for AJ Ramos in the 9th inning, and first inning today. Woo. Give that man a Gold Glove.
Here's Joey Votto now. The Reds, though, have hit 2 balls hard against Kohler to start this game. Votto has had a quiet series, 1 for 7. And he fouls it back. There's not a lot of history between Kohler, Votto, and the Reds. We told you Tom hasn't faced the Reds since 2014. Votto has just 1 at bat. Cozart now with 5 at bats. And none of the Reds that have faced him had hits before this ball game. Long wait and time called. This was the Echeverria catch from yesterday.
Spectacular. Gets up, saves a base hit for AJ Ramos.
Does zone rating, range factor, does that go vertical?
I do not know, but that's an excellent point.
Or is it just the little pods or quadrants, so to speak, to the left and right of fielders?
I would say it's probably linear on the ground to measure how far you can range to either your left or your right. You look at Etch is 5th in the league as far as fielding percentage is concerned with shortstops.
1-1.
It's a key for Tom Kohler to establish this fastball early in the game so he can go to that really good breaking stuff later on. You don't want to show him too much in the first inning. You mentioned the walks. Last 7 games, just 13 walks for Tom Kohler, and that included a game where he walked 6. But the previous 7 games, he walked 28 in those 7 games.
You see Votto choking up on the bat. Cozart's at first. Check swing at a high fastball and no swing, says Ed Hickox. And it's 2-2. Votto at times has seemed uncomfortable in this series. He was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. But of course, Jose Fernandez will do that to you in game 1. 1 for 3 with a single yesterday against Adam Conley And 4 terrific arms out of the pen for Miami. Votto, as he usually does, gets deep in the count now with a 3-2 and 1 out, and Cozart the runner at first.
Yeah, one of the best in the business as far as seeing pitches is concerned in all of baseball. 387 on base percentage right now with just a 254 average.
He does strike out some, so it'll be interesting to see if Brian Price cuts Cozart loose. And another throw over.
In the month of June, even though this is a down year for Joey Votto, hit just in the low 200s the first 2 months of the season. In June, 24 walks and ranked 3rd in the National League with a 466 on base percentage.
Runner goes. Votto pulls it hard and foul. So the criticism for Votto is, with that type of money, people expect home runs, RBIs, and Votto has continued to be what he always has been, and a high on base guy. In a good year, he'll approach 100 RBIs. A year like last year, he drove in 80, but still he was on base at a 459 clip, and his slugging was at 541.
That's the whole Moneyball argument, where on base percentage kind of is king and rules how you go after players.
Runner goes and Votto walks. So Kohler now with a 1st and 2nd and 1 out spot. Southwest brings you Miami's defense. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton, Prado and Johnson on the corners. With the lefty on the hill for the Reds, you've got Miguel Rojas at 2nd. We've already seen Echeverria with a leaping catch at short, and JT Realmuto gets the start. It's an odd day in that most managers will get some guys at bats, bring a bench guy in for a start as Bruce takes a strike. But with the All-Star break, there's really no need for that. You've got 4 days off for everybody, and so across the league and in this ball game, Don Mattingly and Brian Price, for the most part, going with their A lineup. Bruce lines at center field. That's a hit. Cozart round 3rd, up with the ball, Ozuna, and the Reds continue to hit the ball hard and have a 1-0 start. And Jay Bruce, the 63rd run driven in.
Yeah, Jay Bruce named to the All-Star team yesterday after not initially being on it, but you see a bad location miss there by Tom Kohler. Realmuto set up on the outside part of the plate. You see him reaching across to go right down the middle. Jay Bruce, one of the tops in the National League with men in scoring position, over 380 with men in scoring position.
Go ahead RBIs, and I guess in the first inning with 1 out, the Reds have gone ahead, and so that is a go ahead RBI. Kohler with a fastball that misses to Adam Duvall. What a year he's had. Hit his 23rd home run of the season yesterday, and he is an all-star.
Duvall's kind of the anti-Joey Votto school of hitting. If he gets a pitch that he's gonna drill it. A lot of power, very low on base. He's a below 300 on base guy.
Duvall is also in the home run derby, 8th Reds player to participate, and the Reds have had great success in the home run derby. Todd Frazier winning last year. Eric Davis, who was an outstanding player. This is in the infancy of the home run derby. Davis won it in '89. Was named a co-winner. And in 1985, Dave Parker won the very first home run derby.
Yeah, Eric Davis. I got to play against him very beginning of my career and the tail end of his. But when you talk about that 5-tool player that could really do it all, he was an exciting player to watch.
Kohler right now teetering a bit. He's gone 3-1 to a dangerous hitter. Every hitter the Reds have put up there has hit the ball hard. Cozart's liner in and out of the glove of Prado. Hamilton's liner that was snared by Echeverria. Remember, Votto hit it hard foul. And then Bruce with a line drive single to center.
Well, I really surprised seeing Duvall take that pitch. Fastball, decent location, but I figured he would be coming out of his shoes on a 3-1 count.
Count full here with 1 out. Votto the runner at second. Bruce trail runner at first. And he chased that one and fouls it back.
Good pitch by Tom Kohler. Decided to go with a slider 3-2 because he had the same thought that I did. That Duvall would probably be swinging away on a fastball. Barely gets a piece of it. The end of his bat would have been a ball.
There's no doubt that Duvall will be one of the nice feel-good stories in San Diego with his rise to all-star status. Right field, Stanton, back, track, Wall makes the catch. Votto did not tag. And Stanton goes deep, makes the play, and Kohler has 2 outs, and yet another ball hit pretty well.
A little surprised to see Joey Votto still standing on second base.
See Stanton making that catch, and remember that ball's not going out, but the Wall lowered there to 7 feet in the offseason. That's a lot closer to a home run than it was last year. Here now is Phillips. You see the Wall there down at 7. That's the old Wall height in front of the scoreboard. As Phillips swings and misses.
I think that was a great design element to add to Marlins Park, because when you think about exciting plays in baseball, what's one of the most exciting plays by far in all of baseball is to rob a home run, and that actually gives someone a chance to do that.
Center field wall at 8.5 feet. Left and right down at 7 feet. Just swing and a miss. Phillips, who suffered a hairline fracture in that left hand in game 1, played with it yesterday and actually had a couple of hits. Reds would love to find some playing time for one of their top young players, Jose Peraza. And his best spot's probably second base. And of course, Phillips, who's rejected a trade last year to the Washington Nationals. It might not be easy to move him on a team that has tried to move a lot of older and more expensive pieces to get younger and an infusion of talent as they move forward. Kohler misses out, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, once a big leaguer reaches 10 years of service time and he has 5 consecutive years with the same team, he can veto any trade that comes along. And he had an opportunity to go to a winning team in the Washington Nationals, and he decided to stay where he's been most of his career in Cincinnati.
Phillips to right. Stanton is there. And Tom Kohler gets out of it. Limits the damage to just the 1 run and leaves 2. Reds up 1-0. For Miami. Game number 88 for the Fish. And here's Don Mattingly's lineup, brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
As you said, JT Real Muto leading it off. Martin Prado in his 400 average against lefties, hitting second. Third is Christian Yelich in the cleanup spot. Giancarlo Stanton, the all-star starter. Marcell Ozuna in the fifth spot. Chris Johnson gets the start over at first base. Miguel Rojas batting seventh at second base. Danny Echeverria in the eighth spot at shortstop, and batting ninth and pitching Tom Kohler.
Cody Reed is 6'5", 225 pounds. And this is his fifth start. Started the year in AAA and pitched well in Louisville. 6-3, low 3 Ernie. And a fastball starts Real Muto's at bat with Prado and Yelich to follow. Got the glasses going, as Jeff noted. That was something that his mom made him do. There's a bouncer. Jesus went down to a knee and ends up getting Real Muto at first base. Reds defensively was a struggle last night. That catch by Hamilton in the first game of the series was spectacular, though. Southwest Airlines brings it to you. All-stars and run producers in the corners of the outfield. Speed in the middle with Billy Hamilton. Jesus gets his first start of the series. Votto at first. Phillips and Cozart very good defensively up the middle. Tucker Barnhart is behind the plate. Now Prado, as Jeff noted, great against lefties, and the Marlins themselves as a team have been outstanding against lefty starters. 14-6 when facing a left-handed starting pitcher. That's the best mark in all of baseball. The Giants pull in second to that.
And Martin Prado with his 3 hits last night, hitting an even 400 off of lefties on the season.
Marcell Ozuna on that list as well. Some good right-handed bats on that list. Prado tops the list. Jason Worth, Paul Goldschmidt, Yoenis Cespedes, Marcell Ozuna. That's not a lineup a lefty would like to face.
That's a who's who of crushers there.
3-1. That one right on the black. And he walked him. So Prado walks. And that'll bring up Yelich now. And as we scout Cody Reed, it's brought to you by Auto Nation.
Bulked up. Just 165 pounds as a high school senior, currently sitting at 225 pounds. Mom knows best. Urged him to wear eyeglasses in high school. This is the same pair of glasses he's had, and the same prescription since high school. Maybe a little bit of superstition there. And Cueto Bounty was part of that trade, along with yesterday's pitcher Lamb, when Cueto went to Kansas City.
Here's Yelich now. Had a nice first game with a homer and a double. Yesterday took an 0-for.
Reed a little bit different style than yesterday's pitcher Lamb. You see much better fastball, 94 miles an hour there, a hard slider. Lamb, boy, pretty much stymied the Marlins yesterday with an excellent changeup. I talked to Christian Yelich about his changeup. He said it's one of the best changeups he's ever seen.
Yelich. And then Stanton, Ozuna. Prado not a threat to run. Yelich, a ground ball is going to find left field. You know, yesterday we were talking about Christian Yelich, and you made the point, if you take Yelich from 2 months in last year to right now and give him a full season. Look at this. 162 games from today. Look at the numbers. 329, 403 on base, 477 slug. Look at the doubles.
49 doubles, 11 homers, 75 RBIs. You know, you talk about a hitter you want to base your franchise on and be around for a long time. That's why they gave Christian Yelich the long-term contract. Totally deserved. He's got a couple Gold Gloves to go along with that defensively. You've got a really solid player that everyone in this organization believes will probably win a batting title at some point in his career.
Stanton now, a 6-game hit streak. Takes a fastball for a strike. And it's 0-1. In those 6 games, 9 hits, 4 of them home runs.
4 of those in 4 consecutive at-bats
over 2 games
New York.
in New York. You're right. And he spins off a breaking ball. It's 0-2.
A little bit of a cutter here, not really a slider. 90 miles an hour. Really good location. Down and into a right-handed hitter. It's a tough pitch to hit.
See what he gets here. Same pitch. Some good cut on that one at 91.
Boy, talk about 3 identical pitches in a row at 3 perfect locations. You see the rotation on that. It's a 91. It almost breaks as much as a slider. At 91 miles an hour. That's for me, that was one of the toughest pitches to hit. Was a left-hander coming in like that with a down and in slider.
We talk about a curve and a slider, and the pitch in the middle is the slurve. What about a slider and a cutter?
Yeah, you're talking probably a 5-mile-an-hour difference. The break on a cutter is very slight, just to get it off the sweet part of the barrel on the bat, where a slider is a swing and miss type pitch. But from a lefty, especially if it has a little tilt, which means it goes down a little bit, that's a strikeout pitch for a left-handed pitcher.
Ozuna now. Marlins trying to get something out of this first. And of course, as we mentioned, Ozuna very good against lefties. .370 this year. Hits it hard up the middle. Cozart flips it. Phillips gets there in front of Yelich, and the Marlins leave 2. This ball game's underway, and it's headed to the second. It's 1-0 Reds. In Miami. Sweet packs, 3- and 6-game sweet plans are available, and you can bring your group, your family, your neighborhood, your church, whatever you got, bring them on in. And a 6-game plan with renewal will get you 2017 All-Star Game tickets. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/suites.
You know, for those of the guys that aren't in the All-Star game, it's kind of like the last day of school. The last day before the All-Star break, you get 4 consecutive days off, which does not happen during the course of the Major League season. So a really good time to recharge the batteries and get ready for that second half of baseball.
Rojas to his left, and he gathers in the Barnhart bouncer. Tom Kohler has an out. One thing we've seen about Kohler this year is he has had some rough starts, but he's shown the ability to figure it out and push past it and get later in the ball game. Gave up a run on a walk and a couple of hits in that first inning. There is Ivan De Jesus Jr.
It's funny how, you know, it's the break. They call it the first half, but Marlins will actually play 88 games before the All-Star game on Tuesday, and only 74 in the second half of the season. So it's not really halves, but they break it up that way.
It's funny how that works, because there's, you know, traditional stats. You talk about guys, what did he do after the All-Star break? That's become part of the landscape and language of breaking down a guy's season. Of course, at this point, you oftentimes look at numbers, whether it's a pitcher for starts in Kohler or a hitter, and you say, what is he on pace for? If he plays the same percentage of games from here on out, where will his numbers end up? It's sometimes could be a trap, because you obviously don't control a lot of things, injuries, and I'm not talking about injuries that knock you out. That obviously changes the numbers, but injuries that you have to play with and play through. 3-2 coming.
That's a good point. There might not be a devastating injury that will actually take you out of the game or put you on the DL, but if you turn an ankle or have a sore shoulder, you, as a player, you don't want to come out of the lineup ever. So you have to play with those ailments all season, and sometimes they never go away.
As well, I mean, that's the the trap of saying, well, Adam Duvall is on pace to hit 42 home runs for the Reds. He's never done that before, and so there's a big unknown there, and it's hard to keep that pace up over the course of a full season. Obviously, it's easier to do it in a half, not to diminish what any player's done in the first half. I mean, a guy like Votto, who had that great second half last year. That is strike 3 called. Kohler got that one to come back, catch the inside corner.
Yeah, great pitch by Tom Kohler. Made a number of quality pitches. I think that slider today is going to be his go-to breaking ball. Seems like he's able to control that in the strike zone very well. You see this one. DeJesus was hoping that he would go blind right at the end and call that a ball, but he knew it was a strike.
See, that is very similar to what we were talking about, right? That's almost between a slider and a cutter.
Yeah, that is a pitch for him that doesn't break a whole lot, especially when you throw on the inside part of the plate. So when a righty throws that slider on the inside to a right-hander, it's not going to break as much as if he can come across it and throw it to the outside corner on a righty or into a lefty.
Cody Reed is up, counts 0-2. Kohler with an opportunity here for a 1-2-3 second. Great breaking ball. Kohler gets the strikeout, punches out a pair, goes 1-2-3 through the Reds. 1-0 Cincinnati. Stars. Biggest stage, Major League Baseball All-Star Game in San Diego on Fox. Tuesday night, 7:30 start, or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Marcell Ozuna will be starting. Will Jose Fernandez be starting? That's a question that has been bandied about. There's your National League All-Star starters with Bryant and Rizzo, Russell and Zobrist. It's an all-Cubs affair. Posey certainly deserves to be the catcher. And Cargo and Ozuna replacing Cespedes and Fowler. As far as National League starters go, with Steven Strasburg not pitching in the game, Max Scherzer taking his place, with Noah Syndergaard not pitching, you're looking at 3 guys who should start the National League All-Star Game. And one of them has not pitched well lately, and that's Jake Arrieta. Johnny Cueto of the Giants, Jose Fernandez, and Arrieta seem to be the 3 guys worthy of starting that game.
Yeah, just to be in the consideration of being able to start an All-Star game. I'm sure Jose, we heard the interview with Craig earlier, how he's just excited and honored to be going there, especially after coming back from Tommy John surgery, which, you know what, it's kind of a successful surgery and a lot of guys have it, but you never know. You never know how you're going to respond to that.
And there's the significance of San Diego. That was the ballpark where he made his last start before he had the Tommy John surgery. The 2-2. And that cutter right now is really giving right-handed hitters a tough time.
Yeah, it's a tough pitch to recognize when it's going at that speed. A lot of times the slider will be significantly slower. You can kind of detect the speed difference, but that one is 90-91 miles an hour with some pretty good movement.
So I don't know if you can combine the 2 words like you do slider and curve to get a word in between. Liner off the bat of Rojas, and it's in. And it's into the corner, and Rojas takes a peek at Bruce, holds at second. Bruce has got a strong arm, and he digs it out of the corner. And that is a 1-out double.
I'll tell you what, for as little at bats as Miguel Rojas has and as little as he gets into the games, he always gives you a competitive at bat. This is a 96-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside part of the plate. It's right where it's pitched, right down the line. Easy double for him.
And that brings up Echeverria. You've got Kohler on deck. Etch into right field. That's a hit. Rojas a late start. Big arm in right. Bruce's throw home is high, and he's going to score. And Echeverria scampers into second. It's 1-1.
Another first pitch swing on a fastball right down the middle. A lot of times they say the 8th place spot in the lineup is the toughest place to hit because you've got the pitcher behind you and a base was open. Etch, I think, is one of the best in the National League at hitting in that 8th spot and has heads up. You see that throw going up where it's going to be above the cutoff man. You take off for second base, and Etch kept on running. Second base, scoring position.
And that brings up Kohler. You got Real Muto on deck. Kohler takes a fastball for a strike. Kohler's last start was in New York, and it was against Matt Harvey. He had a base hit. He's 3 for 3 in his career against Harvey. Go figure that out.
Some things you just can't figure out in baseball, and that's one of them.
He owns him. Fastball's out, and it's 2-1. 96 miles an hour there. Foul back, 2-2. Here's the flip side of that. Kohler is 3 for 3 against Harvey. Bryce Harper is 1 for 26.
Wow.
And Kohler swings and misses. And so Real Muto now with a chance to give Miami a lead. That is strikeout number 3. First time through the order for Cody Reed. Real Muto, a really nice day yesterday. Up on top of the order. He was 2 for 3 with the walk, and he scored 3 runs. So 3 of the 4 runs the Marlins had were Real Muto's. And that doesn't feel good on the foot. Love the Sox.
That cutter going in, and that's right off the shin. Ooh. That's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, the irony is he wears a shin guard, but only half the time when he's behind the plate. Wow. That ball was missed. And here comes Edge. He's coming home, and he scores. How about that? On a pass ball, Tucker Barnhart boxed it. It kicked off of his shin guard. And Echeverria never stopped. And look how far Votto was off the line. He was of no help.
Well, I think it was a communication problem between Reed and Barnhart. You saw him go out to check. They're calling it a pass ball. He was set up down and in like he was going to throw that cutter slider. And my goodness, he's having trouble back there.
Wow, that one he didn't catch either. Brian Price, Reds manager, with a look of concern. 2-1 Miami. And time call. Real Muto steps back.
You remember yesterday, Real Muto scored on a cross-up from Lamb on a curveball.
On to first, that's close. Real Muto is out. 2-1. The Marlins get 2 in a wild way.
I needed it right there.
From Cody Reed and Tucker Barnhart's attempt to catch it.
Yeah, you could tell the way he was shifting his glove inside to Realmuto that he expected that ball to be the cutter. And at the last second, it was a two-seamer. It ricocheted off of his shin guard, went about 30 yards up toward the red dugout. Just when you think you've seen it all, Rich. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Well, if you do see it all, you can't retransmit it or reproduce in any form, because this copyright telecast is presented by the authority of the Marlins. It may not be disseminated either without the express written consent of the Marlins. That's the legal portion of the telecast.
You nailed it today, too. There will be no lawyers calling because you messed up a word in that.
I know. I kicked a word in game 1, and apparently throughout North America the game was pirated, retransmitted, disseminated, and there was no legal recourse by Major League Baseball or the Marlins. All my fault.
Your fault. You wore that one.
I did.
You took full responsibility.
I did. It's coming out of my check. Here's Zach Cozart. Billy Hamilton, Joey Votto will follow against Tom Kohler, and the game has changed certainly. Kohler gave up a first inning run. Marlins rally for 2 in the second. High fly ball. Yelich eyes it and makes the catch. Second time through for the Reds here. Everyone at the top of the order hit the ball pretty hard in that first, and Kohler was able to get out with just the 1 run. He went 1, 2, 3 in the second with a pair of strikeouts. Here's Billy Hamilton.
Yeah, that first inning was a little concerning for Tom Kohler. It was kind of all over the place with control. It was in the strike zone, but he was missing his spots, and the Reds did not miss many of those pitches. Well, he's definitely dialed in his release point and is throwing some good quality strikes now. And we've seen Tom Kohler do that. We've seen him have a bad inning, kind of a blow-up inning where he'll walk a couple guys, give up a couple hard-hit balls, and then come right back and keep the Marlins in the game until he leaves in the 6th or 7th.
Misses in. Certainly not a guy you want to give a free pass to, and speedy Billy Hamilton. No swing on a sharp breaking ball. Hamilton to center. Ozuna makes the catch. The Marlins Express can come to your house, your office, or actually wherever you want, and bring your group to a game in style. 30 to 50 people in a private motor coach. It starts at just $40 per person. You can book the Marlins Express today. 1-877 Marlins. Don't have to worry about parking, traffic. Just ride in air-conditioned comfort.
I'm in.
In the Marlins.
Good way to go to the ballgame.
Well, I think they should rename it to like the Marlins Party Bus.
Even more enticing.
You could turn it into that because it's your own private motor coach. Votto with the count 2-0. We will be watching scores from everywhere today, but with particular interest to Citi Fields with the Nationals and the Mets playing. The Marlins are just a game behind the Mets. The Mets hold that second wild card spot. And if the Marlins win this game and the Mets lose again, then into the All-Star break go the Marlins and the Mets, sharing that last wild card spot, which adds certainly a lot of intrigue and some discussion points for the break. Votto to left. Yelich on the track, makes the catch, and Tom Kohler has settled into this ball game. He's retired 8 straight.
Along in this ball game to the bottom of the third inning. Eric Esteban from Fox Sports Florida is with us, also a board member of the After Schools All-Star Program, which is one of the charity partners. I know the Marlins are excited to be involved with Eric in 2016.
Thank you. We're honored to be here today and just thrilled to be a partner with the Marlins Charity Partnership, both as After School All-Stars and Fox Sports Florida.
What is After School All-Stars, and how do the Marlins with this charity benefit the group?
Sure. After School All-Stars is a program that provides after-school care and keeps kids safe and healthy, while also providing them with the tools they need to be successful in school and in life. Really a perfect partnership with Fox Sports Florida because of the program we were able to launch with them this year.
And the Marlins, I know, donate quite a bit of money that can directly impact?
Yes, I mean, it makes a huge difference, and we're able to launch a junior broadcasting program with them this year, which is really fun and engaging, able to bring kids to the ballpark and show them behind the scenes at Fox Sports Florida, ideally to empower them to become the next Rich Waltz, the next member of the crack staff, or if they're lucky, the next Craig Minervini.
Maybe the next Jeff Conine, then go to baseball and then the booth.
There you go, that's what I'm talking about.
Thanks a lot, Eric Esteban from Fox and, of course, After School All-Stars program. Watch out, guys, they're coming for you.
It's all right. They look like a good bunch out there. That's a great program. Martin Prado takes out from Cody Reed. Cody Reed has really good stuff today. There's no question about that. In fact, ask his catcher, because Tucker Barnhart has had trouble catching him. Ball has really moved.
We watched him throw this cutter down and in to the right-hander. I was just curious. We've seen Adam Conley really dominate right-handed hitters because of that cutter that goes down and in, and have struggles against lefties. So Conley against right-handers, 223 batting average against lefties, at 289 against him. Well, Reed is a completely opposite, which kind of surprised me a little bit because of the effectiveness of the cutter today. Coming in today, right-handers are throwing hitting 365 against Reed, and lefties just 143.
Wow. And the strikeouts are all right-handed. Prado there, Stanton, Johnson, and of course Kohler. It's that pitch, that half slider, half cutter, that has given the righties fits today. Here's Yelich, who bounced one to left for a hit. We were talking about the Mets and the Nationals. Boy, Daniel Murphy is just wearing out his former team. He had a 2-run homer, a 2-1 lead for the Nationals over the Mets in New York. Murphy's hit 7 homers against the Mets this year. And it's the All-Star break. And there are the numbers. And as we told you, if the Marlins can win this game and the Nationals beat the Mets, Marlins and Mets identical record going into the break, they would share the second wild card spot. The Dodgers have that first wild card.
Anytime during the course of the season, if you can start scoreboard watching and you're excited about getting into one of those playoff spots, you got to love that as a baseball team. And we talked to A.J. Ramos last night about the culture in the clubhouse atmosphere on this Marlins team right now. He said everyone's so close, everyone gets together so well as a unit that they're going to be scoreboard watching from now until the end of the season. And I'd love to see this team in the postseason.
Of course, when somebody asked Don Mattingly about the significance of that, Mattingly's first reply was, well, that's not the goal. The goal is to win the East. Yelich pulls it. Votto flips it out. That may be reviewed. And the most vocal fans were the ones down on the first base line who were close to the play. It was juggled by Reed on the flip from Votto. Yelich runs well. Here's our first look.
You see Votto having trouble. It kind of gets a bad hop, comes off his chest. Votto, low throw. Under review. Let's take a good look in slow motion. Off balance a little bit. He's got a. That's a safe.
Yes.
Guaranteed safe. That is, should be a very quick turnaround here.
Now, not an easy call for an umpire, because it goes against all the mechanics of a bang-bang play at first base. But Yelich beats it. And so that's going to be, I would think, a base hit. Danny DeMuth is the crew chief. And that's going to get Giancarlo Stanton in at bat with a runner at first. And Pat Shine shines again. The Marlins video coach. He's a coach who mans the video room and all the replays. And it is a hit. Pat Shine appearing on Marlins Live. And the topic for Craig and Pat was this guy at the plate, Giancarlo Stanton. Pat Shine, who throws great batting practice. I believe Shiner was a former catcher, right?
I believe so.
I know he was a high school quarterback up in Spokane, Washington. He throws great batting practice, and he'll be pitching to Stanton in San Diego. The pride of Gonzaga Prep High School.
Yeah, a lot of times when you get to the home run derby, the regular batting practice throwers to the guys of the entrants that are in the home run derby will usually bring those guys along. They get to share in that all-star experience, and Shiner will put up some meatballs for Giancarlo to launch out of Petco Park.
It's that's an art, because that's very valuable. You don't want to throw it too soft. You don't want to throw cutters or anything that moves. Just 4 seamers. 2-0 pitch.
I took my son to the All-Star game 2 years ago at Citi Field, and Bryce Harper was in the home run derby, and his father threw batting practice to him, and it was a very odd batting practice. I don't think there'd be any other major leaguer in all of baseball that would actually have that. He just had a very odd motion, but he was so used to it that that's what he wanted to have for his batting practice, home runs.
I've seen a few fathers. Didn't Robinson Cano's dad?
Yes.
Famously. It's out. Stanton walks. He was geared up for that fastball. Didn't get it. And an opportunity knocks here for Miami in the bottom of the 3rd with Ozuna coming up first and second. Jeff Conine, you were a very good right-handed hitter in the major leagues for a long time. 2-time All-Star, All-Star MVP. If you're first at bat, you saw this slider, cutter, whatever you want to see it coming in. What's the adjustment you make second at bat?
Well, after I see it for the first time, I know what the break is. You try to adjust your sights to make sure it's a strike the next time you swing at it. And then a lot of times I don't want him to get to that pitch again, so I'm going to put the first fastball I see in play.
Easier to hit that pitch in that location, which starts out, catches a plate, or one that starts middle of the plate?
Definitely the one that starts out and breaks over the middle of the plate for me, because Reed's is so good and has such a good break to it that one right there starts middle and it almost ends up out of the strike zone. But it's a very difficult pitch to recognize visually. Because of the speed, you think it's a fastball, but right there at the end, it's got that nice little bite to it. One of our cohorts here at Fox, Al Leiter, had one of the best cutters that I've ever faced.
Ozuna rolls it to short. Cozart out there. Phillips will hold it with Ozuna hustling down the line. And it's a Chris Johnson at bat with runners at the corners and 2 outs. Nationals have increased their lead over the Mets to 3-1. Bottom 3. Cubs and Pirates. Pirates hammered the Cubs yesterday. The Cubs continue to scuffle, and yet all that equity they built up in the Central is paying off right now. A 6.5 game lead still, despite having lost 9 of their last 10 and 5 in a row. And it's the Pirates that can make up another game if they beat them today. That's a little tapper and a foul ball. And you see it hit Johnson's foot. Once it does that, it's a dead ball. In fact, if you're Johnson, you want it to hit your foot before it goes fair.
Yeah.
That pitch has been tough.
I tell you, with the effectiveness of that cutter, I'm surprised he's throwing anything else. It's just really boring into that right-handed bat. Saw Marcell Ozuna get jammed on one pitch before.
And that's the one that starts out middle or in and ends up almost on your belt buckle.
And actually, if you're going to make contact with this, you can't really do much else than pull it foul, because you have to get your barrel of the bat so far out in front just to make contact.
Wow. Johnson goes down swinging, and Reed gets out of it and leaves 2. Miami on top 2-1.
As the fish get ready, they hope for a sweep and a big second half of the season, but Don Mattingly says they'll have to pick up their game to do that.
We got to make sure that we are a little more on the edge, where each game is really important. And I think if you don't play like that, if you don't ask for it, number one, it's like it's not going to happen, right? And if we don't get 25 guys focused on that, then like we talked about, 4 games over is not going to get it done. You know, it may be okay, and everybody says, okay, we did okay, but that's not going to get it done.
And Skip says that's why he was brought in here. And guys, as we throw it to you, I want to say congratulations and good luck to Caitlin here. The sign lady made this sign, if you could read it. She's having her baby on Tuesday, the All-Star Day, but she's still here. Congratulations, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Big Marlin fan and a season ticket holder here in left field, and a new Marlin fan is coming. Her name will be Liliana. Back to you, Rich.
All right, good luck to everybody there. Good luck to Mom. Jay Bruce is up. 1-1 pitch from Tom Kohlers. Foul back to the screen. 2-1 Marlins in the 4th. Bruce produced Cincinnati's run with a line drive single back in the 1st. Kohler was able to work out of trouble after that. Since then, he has set down 8 straight.
It's really established that breaking ball. You saw the first pitch to Bruce that he fouled back was the fastball, almost the identical pitch he hit into center field for the RBI single.
Pitch is out. The Marlins getting a couple of runs on an Adeiny Echeverria RBI single, and then a passed ball with Echeverria at second. We have an army of researchers. John Chimchuk, one of those. Ken Lee, of course, oversees all things information. That's the first time that's happened in Marlins history. Bruce, another line drive, and this one down for a hit as well. And that is a runner scoring from second on a passed ball. But one warning to that. That note could go away. Yesterday, remember the breaking ball that was misplayed and was originally ruled a pass ball. It was changed to a wild pitch because it was determined that the pitcher crossed up the catcher.
So there has been a runner score from second on a wild pitch.
Right, but not a pass ball. So enjoy that note while you can. Into left, and Adam Duvall has a hit. And so single go the Reds to open up the fourth.
Here's a play yesterday we're talking about, totally crossed up. The catcher landed with a curveball. He was expecting a fastball, and Cabrera was just totally whiffed on that one and ended up scoring a huge run for the Marlins.
That was first inning. Now Phillips. Kohler now obviously looking for a ground ball. Phillips, a fly ball out to right in the first. Phillips gets into one, drives it left field. Yelich after it and won't get it. One hops the wall. Good jump by Duvall, and he's right behind Bruce. They'll both score. Just like that, 3 hitters into the fourth. The Reds have 2 runs and take the lead.
Change up down. Pretty good pitch, actually. Phillips goes down to get this ball, almost goes to a knee after he hits it. Admires it for a second or two, and then like you said, Duvall knew exactly when Christian Yelich turned his back and started going after that ball, he's going to score easily.
Two-run double for Brandon Phillips, and here is Barnhart.
That'll get Mike Dunn up and working in the Marlins bullpen.
.59 pitches in is Kohler. That one ripped to center. Up with the ball is Ozuna. Phillips around third. Ozuna's throw comes home, and he is out at the plate. Wow! Ozuna to Real Muto. Obviously, the Reds will look at it. It was bang, bang.
Boy, if this one stands up, how about that yesterday? Ozuna gunning Phillips at third base. I didn't think he had a chance here. All the way in the air. JT puts on a tag. What an asset to have an arm like that in center field.
All right, we've seen full speed. Here's our first slow-mo look. And it looks like he got the hand on the plate before the glove got to him. So it looks like he's going to be safe. Well, wait a minute. The Reds are not reviewing it.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
I'm a little shocked on that one. Slow-mo here. Looks like right there is hands on.
And,
wow.
And the glove doesn't seem to get there before that.
Unless they had a different angle than we did.
There's a possibility that the Reds replay room also felt that there wasn't enough to overturn. That initial call is so crucial. It has to be 100% sure that the call is wrong before they overturn it. And the fact that the umpire was in the way of that replay, that may have had something to do with it. Another hit in the center field. Stanton cuts in front. That's 5 straight hits to open up this inning. Now Ozuna had, of course, another big throw that impacted yesterday.
Once again, all the way in the air, right to Martin Prado.
And the difference here, replay was used. Watch the umpire, safe. And on review, out. So no challenge by the Reds on this one.
See if this is a better look.
That's a great reaction. Although I've got to be honest, the looks. Now we saw only one slow-mo that was close enough to tell, and the variable was the positioning of Ben May, not to his fault or anything that he did wrong. It just so happens that he was in between the camera and the plate, but it looked like the hand was in and the tag came late.
But like you said, it's got to be clear and concise evidence to overturn the call. If there's any doubt whatsoever, they have to stay with what's been called on the field.
Now for the Reds, this works out perfectly. They've got Reed up there with runners first and second and one out. This is one of those innings where if Kohler can just hold it to 2 runs, he's got to feel pretty good about getting out of that. Especially after giving up 5 consecutive hits, and the Marlins will get an out there, but not there. Good work by Real Muto as he nabs Barnhart at third base.
You're not going to see too many catchers that will get out of their catching position and get to a short bunt like JT Realmuto. Very strong, perfect throw. Reed getting down the line pretty well. Beats it out pretty easily at first base.
So Cozart now 5 hits, a blown sacrifice, 2 runs and 2 outs. That's the extent of the inning so far. Cozart 1 for 2, and he takes out. And it's still just top 4. Tom Kohler on the ropes a bit. Mike Dunn in the bullpen is ready. And it's one of those games too where you've got a lot of arms available with the All-Star break starting tomorrow. Actually, the All-Star break starts at the end of this ball game.
Yeah.
Marlins used Phelps, Barraclough, Rodney, and Ramos yesterday. That's a swing. 2-1. Rodney and Ramos also worked on Friday night. You would think just about everybody's available.
Yes.
With no need to worry about tomorrow. 3-1. Reds first and second. Kohler trying to work his way through this with 2 outs. Cozart a bouncer, Echeverria to a knee, and the Marlins get that out. 5 consecutive hits. The Reds will get 2 runs and lead at 3-2. Florida is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By Coral Springs Auto Mall. Across from Coral Square Mall, we make it easy. And by Subaru of Pembroke Pines, price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. Jeff Conine's good friend DJ Vertigo.
I do know DJ Vertigo fairly well. He used to play down in Clevelander when I made my way up to Stairway to Heaven, up to the desk out there in center field.
I've always felt it would be hard for you to get there cleanly going through the Cleveland. I mean, you being Mr. Marlin, the party going on in the Clevelander, the pool, the drinks, the food.
Well, I never did it after the game for postgame. I would always do it before the game when it was light crowd. People hadn't had too many cocktails in them yet.
How does Craig get through there unscathed?
He's got to go early because I'm sure he gets mobbed.
Miguel Rojas takes a strike. Danny Echeverria, and then the pitcher spot for Miami, now down 3-2 against Cody Reed. Lake Horn, Mississippi, just south of Memphis. This is his home. As you noted, he's one of the 3 lefties the Reds got from the Royals in the Cueto deal in July of last year. To Jesus. 1 out in the 4th. AT&T high-speed replay. Wow, that was quick, wasn't it? That was a pass ball, and Danny Echeverria was at second, and he scores. You know, the other thing that was odd about that I just realized, that was a called strike. Did you see Real Muto's reaction to that being a called strike? We were so focused on the ball bouncing towards the dugout and the chase by the Reds. That was a called strike.
I didn't notice that either. Now let's see if that has ever been done in Marlins history on a called strike.
Called strike pass ball. Runner scoring from second. We did not even think to look at Fox tracks on that. Maybe someone has a screen grab they can send our way.
Looks like Tom Kohler's day is going to be over. Cole Gillespie is on the on-deck circle right now. Well, as the pitcher spot's coming up.
If ever there's a day to try to piece it together with your bullpen, this is it.
Yeah, it's got a semi-playoff game type atmosphere when you know that you're going to get 4 days off. Everybody can be rested. Just throw everything out there you possibly can. Crowd not liking that called strike, but if you, I mean, it barely touched the upper left corner of that Fox tracks.
The upper peninsula of the strike zone. That's off of Reed. Phillips gathers. Quick throw to first is in time. And Echeverria robbed of a hit on that one.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. This was definitely going to be up the middle. Got a good piece of that slider cutter that tracked over the middle of the plate.
Marlins are going to go with Tomas Telis. Gillespie was on deck. And now Telis, whom the Marlins have brought up a couple days ago to start the series when they sent Justin Nicolino down. Marlins will not need that 5th starter, and that was the role that Nicolino had for a while. All-star break, and then almost a full turn of the rotation before you need that 5th starter. And so Telis was having a productive year with the bat. Gives Don Mattingly some options. .311 average with 3 homers, 27 driven in. 70 pitches for Kohler.
Telis a switch hitter as well, so he's got additional flexibility with him in the pinch hitting bench role.
And that's another reason why you can try to piece it together with your bullpen is you've got 6 bench players to use as pinch hitters as guys shuttle in and out. And you need to adjust your lineup, whether it's a double switch or just a pinch hitting appearance like this. This has got to be an extraordinarily, thank you, tough day for Ben May. This guy is not easy to call. I mean, that's the fastball there at 93. This slider slash cutter he's throwing is usually coming in at 91. That pitch right there at 90. And Talise got a piece, but it's held by Barnhart. And Miami done in order in the fourth. A one-run game. Cincinnati on top. Toyota's inside look. Best winning percentage before the All-Star break. And for the Marlins, got to go back to 97. 581. Obviously, the Fish would like to go 47 and 41. And that would be the second best all time.
How about 2008? How do you play 95 games before the All-Star break? They were 50 and 45.
Scheduling anomaly. Wow. They probably started the season early, and
that whatever Monday that All-Star weekend
was late.
Wow. 95 games before the All-Star break. I remember that 97 team. Pretty good.
All-time appearances. Mike Dunn now all alone on top of the list. Braden Looper was there for a long time. First pitch to left. Yelich charging and sliding. Nifty play by Christian Yelich. And that robs Billy Hamilton of a hit.
Good fastball inside here. Jams. I think he broke his bat as well, but Christian Yelich, good break. Makes that show sliding catch there. Nicely done.
Slider a strike to Votto, who's walked and flied out. One addition to the American League All-Star team today. White Sox lefty Jose Quintana. First time All-Star. Surprise announcement. He'll replace Danny Salazar on the roster. As we noted today, there's some anticipation as to the National League starter in the All-Star game and the possibility it might be Jose Fernandez.
Mike Dunn injured early in this season, spent the first 2 months on the disabled list, wasn't reinstated till May 31st. He's only pitched 3 2/3 innings since June 21st. Covers his last 5 appearances. So, I mean, he's almost still going through spring training.
It's one of the hard things for a guy that gets injured in spring and then has to rehab. It's like he's jumping on a moving train. And yeah, he's pitched in the minor leagues and gone through that, but the full spring training, you lose it. And so you're right, for him, this feels like mid-April. Three-two to Votto. And he got him. So Dunn gets strikeout.
Well, you've noted a number of times in this series, Rich, how uncomfortable Joey Votto looks at the plate, which is something we're not really used to seeing. It's a fastball that he chokes up on the bat. He usually gets a piece of, but right by him.
Jay Bruce has 2 hits. One drove in a run in the first, and he scored a run after his single in the fourth. Maybe the most surprising baseball news in some time is that Derek Jeter got married yesterday in California. Congratulations. Jeter now 42.
With that first inning RBI, Jay Bruce now tied with Anthony Rizzo for 4th place in the National League.
Well, the production for the Reds has come from the outfield. Duvall in left and Bruce in right. Both those guys in the 60s in terms of RBIs.
Yeah, Duvall right behind Bruce in the runs batted in category as far as leaders with 61. You look at extra base hits. Duvall and Bruce are both tied for 5th in the National League with 44 extra base hits.
Well, look, the biggest issue for the Reds has been starting pitching and bullpen. Lifted to left. Yelich has it. And Mike Dunn works a nice clean 5th inning. Reds are finishing off the first half, headed towards the All-Star break, headed towards San Diego on Fox on Tuesday night. This date, Marlins history. Jeff, you were just referencing 2008. They were still, no doubt, in the first half when they played this game on this date. Handy Ramirez, a solo homer, was 5 for 6 at Dodger Stadium. He was a triple shy of the cycle. No Marlin has ever hit for the cycle. JT Realmuto came close this year, but no cycles in Marlins history.
That's remarkable. 5 no-hitters, but no cycles. And until today, no one had scored from second base on a pass ball.
That's right. Realmuto, Prado, Yelich, top of the order, third time through against Reed, if you're just happening by. Reds got a quick 1-0 lead in the first. Marlins produced 2 in the second. Brandon Phillips knocked home a couple in the fourth. And this tall lefty out of Lake Horn, Mississippi. It's just south of Memphis, Tennessee. Has really kept Miami in check. And he's done it with a pitch that's been a little bit of a slider, a little bit of a cutter, and a lot of a headache. Adjust those glasses. His mom bought him those glasses in high school. And when he got the glasses, he didn't want to wear them because he said he looked stupid in them. 2-2. Realmuto's bouncer to short. Cozart. And so his mom said, look, I took you to the eye doctor. I paid for the glasses. You are wearing the glasses. And reluctantly he put them on, and he pitched great in that game. And from that game on, he's always worn those same frames and the same lenses.
So a bit of superstition there, you think?
Yeah. And here he is in the big leagues. He's not going to take them off once he gets to the big leagues.
Absolutely not. You got him here.
Prado takes a strike.
Now, Rich, I mean, you've seen a lot of baseball players in your time and a lot of superstitions, and we like to call them routines because we don't like to be labeled superstitious. But how about you in the broadcast booth? Do you have any superstitions?
Yes, I always like to work next to a two-time All-Star.
Yes.
Nah, I mean, superstitions.
I mean, like, would you use the same pen for the, if you won 2 games in a row in a series, would you use the same pen for the third day? Something like that.
You're a silly guy. That one is foul. Jeff, alluding to the color of pens that we've used in this series. Blue for my scorebook, black for yours. And as the game started, we looked at each other. There were 2 pens on the table. Jeff stayed with black, I stayed with blue.
Not just black, but the exact same pen that I used the first 2 days. No, I'm not superstitious at all. I'm just saying, why change it up?
2-2. Prado sharply hit by DeJesus down the line, hustling for another double. And he's got it. Martin Prado, 4 doubles in this series.
'20th double on the season. There's this cutter coming up and in. Martin Prado. Good hitters will start to anticipate this pitch and try to clear that front side so they can get that barrel to the ball and keep it fair. And that's exactly what Martin did. He was up in the zone a little bit, which helped him out. Nice piece of hitting by Martin Prado.
Now Yelich. Stanton behind him. Yelich, a ground ball single to left, and then he hit the ball that Votto bobbled initially, and his underhand toss to Reed covering first was a bit awkward, and Yelich got there just before Reed's foot. So that slider slash cutter hasn't kept the only left-handed bat in the lineup from going 2 for 2, but man, the right-handed bats have had trouble squaring that pitch up, although Prado just did for a double.
Yeah, Rich, it's a very odd start for a line from Reed coming into this game that was 0-3 with a 9 ERA. You would think this guy really doesn't have much stuff at all, but he's got excellent stuff. And we saw the same thing from Lamb yesterday. He was 1-5 with a mid-5s ERA, and he dominated the Marlins for 5 innings.
Yelich, good take. It's 2-2.
Reed was the 12th starter of the season that the Reds have had to use this year. 26th pitcher overall. Both are major league highs.
Fastball, and that pops out of the glove of Barnhart. It has been a struggle.
Rising fastball, just could not get his hand up in time to catch it, and Marlins now an excellent opportunity with a man on third base, less than 2 outs, infield in.
It is a 3-2 count on Yelich, and it goes as a wild pitch, and he struck him out. That looked like a more traditional slider with much more of a break. The big strikeout for Reed.
Yeah, this is a really, really tough pitch on a left-handed hitter. You see it just off the outside corner for a ball, but with a 3-2 count, that's a really difficult pitch to take.
Stanton swings and misses. And it's 0-1. Giancarlo struck out and walked. And that time Reed left one up, and that's the pitch you noted. Starts out and drifts over the plate.
Yeah, top of the strike zone there. That was a good opportunity for Giancarlo to get some good wood on it. You've noticed that Giancarlo's choking up a little bit on the bat too. Try and shorten that bat a little bit to get the barrel to the ball on that one that's down and in. You don't often see Giancarlo choke up.
See where Barnhart is set up in. Stanton crushes one. Left field. Out of here. 2-run shot. I say he got to it.
Touch him all, big boy. He got to that one just right. You saw it elevated a little bit. He choked up, got the barrel to the ball. 87 on that pitch speed. We've seen it in the low 90s, but this one right in the big man's wheelhouse. Marlins have the lead.
No doubt. Ozuna swings and misses. So Stanton now has 20 homers and 50 driven in. And I know he's not going to the All-Star game to play. He'll be in the home run derby. But if you look at his production, the 20 homers, the 50 RBIs, and you go down the list of All-Stars, you're not going to find too many guys with those type of numbers. And I know he's not deserving the type of first half that he's had, but still, the numbers are pretty impressive in the first half.
Well, that now, with that home run, ties him for 8th in the National League as far as home runs are concerned. And it would put him in the top 10 as well, just out of the top 10 in RBIs. So, to your point, he struggled for so long, and he still has this kind of production. If he can get it going in the second half, boy, the Marlins could just jump on his back, and he's going to have a monster second half.
And that's the point. If he has a Stanton-like second half, he's going to have great numbers when it's done. Back to the screen on that foul ball. The count 2-2. 4-3 Miami as these two teams go back and forth.
You We looked at his month of May. He didn't, and June, he didn't hit a home run for almost a month. You subtract a month out of the season, and he's still got 20 and 50. That's the impact type bat that he has, and how quickly he can amass statistics.
That's a fair. Oh, it's a foul ball. That's a foul ball. The third base umpire, Ed Hickok, called foul from above. It looked very, very close.
Good thing for Ozuna, because De Jesus made an unbelievable play on this ball, catching on the short hop, going into foul territory, and still made.
That looked
like it was on the chalk to me.
And now, in that case, it's where it goes over the bag. Where it landed, it looked fair. That's a fair ball.
That's a fair ball.
Even if it lands on the other side, the foul side of the chalk, if it crossed over the bag. But you know what? That's not reviewable.
On the infield, it is
on
not
the
reviewable.
infield. Any ball in front of a first or third base umpire, fair or foul, is not reviewable. It's only once it gets to the outfield portion that you can review fair or foul.
Very surprising, though. I mean, that hit middle of the chalk.
Ozuna liner over the head of Duvall, up off the wall. And he is in there. Whoa! Didn't quite stick the landing, but it looks okay, and it's a double.
Well, that foul ball call is now could loom large.
Oh, without question.
And you see the slider again starts middle and does not get in like he's been getting in all game. And elevated. Marcell Ozuna punishes this ball.
Now, a pop-up slide is a popular one. This is an early pop-up, though. This is
early pop-up, and little Willie Mays Hayes.
That's a good reference. Very good reference. And that's going to be the end of the line for Cody Reed. Giancarlo Stanton with a 2-run homer. Marcell Ozuna with a double, and a Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Buick presents the big matchup all time. Now, this doesn't stretch back to 1876 when the Reds were started, but it gives you an idea of the history in this ballpark. An even 8-8. Last 3 game sweep at home was, wow, 1995.
Wow. I think you pulled out a stat earlier that the Reds in their history have only lost 100 games once.
Here's Chris Johnson. We were talking about that before the ball game. I mean, the Reds have been in existence since 1876. They're on pace to lose over 100. It's only happened once in their history. Johnson probably not that disappointed to see Cody Reed lifted from the game. He had struck out twice against him. Josh Smith taking over for the Reds. And a breaking ball down low.
Josh Smith, another bullpen arm that was added during the season. Got called up May 22nd from Louisville. One of the 26 pitchers that the Reds have used on their staff in this season. We're only halfway through.
And he did not even go to Major League camp. He was in minor league camp. Right center, Bruce hustles on and makes the catch. But Giancarlo Stanton puts Miami on top. Number 20, a missile to left. It's 4-3. Stanton, a 2-run homer and a 1-run lead headed to the 6th for Miami and their bullpen now. Marlin fans, you can continue to watch Marlin games on the go on DirecTV and AT&T. Just download the Fox Sports Go app. Take Fox Sports Florida and the Marlins wherever you go. Don Kelly at first base. And Nick Wickren on the mound. So Don Mattingly decided this is a good game to piece it together. Tom Kohler was lifted, having given up just the 3 runs. Mike Dunn looked sharp in the 5th. Nick Wickren now takes the baton. He gets the 6th. As we noted, All-Star break starts right after the game. And so everybody available, which for a manager with a 1-run lead is a little bit of comfort.
You know, you talk about the back end of the bullpen a lot, Phelps and Rodney and Ramos, but Wickren is putting together a really nice addition to this Marlins bullpen. He has not been scored upon in his last, I take that back, he was scored upon at Detroit, but overall 204 batting average against. He's only walked 5 batters to go against 26 strikeouts. Last time out versus the Mets, an inning and 2/3 of no-hit ball.
And one thing you like about Wickren is he can pitch in high leverage spots and not be overwhelmed by it. He was a closer in the minor leagues. As was Ramos, as was Bearclaw. And a swing and a miss there. Wickren comes in and challenges one of the top power hitters in the National League this year, but strikes out Adam Duvall.
Good fastball, 94 miles an hour outside part of the plate. Once again, the power arms that come out of the bullpens nowadays are just mind-boggling, and everybody throws as hard as they do.
Here's Brandon Phillips. 2-run double in the fourth, flied out in the first.
And the best thing you like about a reliever that comes in the game and throws strikes. 5 walks in 24 2/3 innings pitched. You know he's going to be around the strike zone. Not give any free passes.
Echeverria has had a lot of liners hit at him, above him, around him in this series. That one he didn't have to move much.
That was right at him, and about 100 miles an hour for sure. Sometimes those are the toughest ones to catch because they have a tendency to sometimes they knuckle, sometimes they got some spin on them. They might handcuff you, but Brandon Phillips didn't even have a chance to get out of the batter's box.
Now Barnhart. Tucker Barnhart takes in. Tenth round pick, 2009. It's Barnhart. Fouls that one back. Brownsburg High School, where as a freshman and sophomore, he was catching Drew Storen. It's pretty good for a high school to put 2 guys in the big leagues out of that same team.
I think out of high school, if you get 2 players that are able to play Division I college baseball, that's a pretty good thing.
Rojas gobbles it up over to Kelly. First it was Mike Dunn, now it's Nick Wickren. So far so good for Miami's bullpen. Is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Now that looks like a good place to be if you're not at the ballpark. Here at Marlins Park, the Cincinnati Reds and the Miami Marlins, 4-3. Marlins on top Bottom 6. Josh Smith with a breaking ball and a strike for Miguel Rojas. Josh Smith out of Margate ended up playing his college ball at Lipscomb University. Got to the big leagues last year with the Reds and is back up this year. Guy that's had to prove himself at every level. Fastball, cutter, curve, slider, changeup. So he's got a lot of different pitches. And anytime you have a 21st round draft pick, especially a college kid, that's certainly the case. You got to prove yourself at every level. Sometimes the guys that are in the first few rounds, major league executives, scouts, whatever, they've got a lot invested in that pick, whether it's money or instinct or intuition. Resources, there you go.
And they will definitely get the benefit of the doubt going forward because they have spent so much time scouting and recruiting these kids that they feel their upside is going to be a major league player. And so if you've got nothing invested in a 58th rounder, you can just let him go and whatever go.
I'll tell you what, that was very close, and Joey Votto broke to the ball. The Marlins are going to look at this and possibly review it, and now they are. Votto broke to the ball and had to really hustle to get back, and I don't think he got the bag with his foot on return. Look at that.
Yeah, you saw Tim Wallach after he got off the phone with Pat Shine down in the video room. He said he's safe. He's safe. So they've got a pretty good look at this. He might even had his foot on the bag.
Yeah, he had the bag. He beat it.
Shot.
But Phillips had to hesitate and wait for Votto to get to the bag before he threw it.
And that's a mistake you don't see Joey Votto make very often. Multiple-time Gold Glove winner over there. He's got one of the better second basemen. And Brandon Phillips, he's got tremendous range.
So the Marlins win another.
2 quick calls for the Marlins.
See, watch how quickly Phillips has this ball right there. And he waits.
Wait, yep.
And he waited a little too long. But he was initially delayed because of the placement and the first few steps of Votto. Echeverria now. Rojas with 2 hits, a double and a single.
Pat Shine padding his statistics today with the correct challenges.
Echeverria knocked home a run in the second. This was a Cody Reed start for Cincinnati. And the big lefty at times looked tough to hit.
Snap throw there by Barnhart trying to get Rojas off the bag. Sometimes this is a called play. Maybe the catcher will get the first baseman's attention and throw some dirt to the side, say, hey, I'm gonna come down there. And a lot of times it's just, hey, whenever you come down, I'm ready for it.
Oftentimes you'll see a catcher do that on a pitch that's away or even away and in the dirt. When a hitter, or excuse me, when a runner takes that secondary lead and thinks ball in the dirt.
You might be thinking about taking that extra base, and all of a sudden.
Breaking ball in. It's 2-0.
Our former teammates, Pudge Rodriguez, is one of the best, maybe ever, at that snap throw to first base. I can say so from experience. He got me.
Echeverria, there's the bunt, first base side. Nicely done. And Don Kelly coming up. You can put a deposit on 2017 season ticket plan. Guarantee access to the All-Star Game in 2017 in Miami. Don't miss a chance to secure your seat for a once-in-a-generation event and all of the All-Star Week activities in and around Miami. Deposit start at just $250, 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/season tickets. That's the look in left field. I want to say behind the fence in the Clevelander. Kelly takes fastball up. What do you think, Niner? Is that the Clevelander? If you look at Duvall's working on his swing, his outfielders will do.
Got some time out there sometimes as an outfielder. I know you see famously, there it is. You're right. Clevelander,
that's
right in front of the pool.
That's camera 12 actually shooting the game. We don't often see camera 12 shooting game action. We see them shooting action in and around the pool, but not. Kelly fouls it at the plate. It's 2-1. I know we have some of the very best women and men working in and around our telecast, in our production truck, on our cameras, in our booth. Two-1. Look out. Kelly hits that liner into the seats.
Wow, you heard it hit that metal fence.
You know why you heard it? You know why you heard it hit the metal fence? Because we have the very best audio guy who wishes he was running camera 12 in the Clevelander, and we should let him do that because it's his birthday today. Mark Butler, happy birthday. 2-2. The only thing Perry Hill can do there is just yell, "Look out." And I'm telling you, if you come to a game and you sit down there, stay alert. And parents, take the seat closest to the plate so that you have the ability to shield your kids. 2-2. That's a good pitch by Margate's Josh Smith.
He went down and in a couple times with those foul balls you saw go in the stands. Donnie Kelly was hooking around. He put this one a little bit further out and right on the corner. That's about as good a pitch as you can make in that situation.
Now Real Muto. Ross still at second. Looks like next up is Bear Claw. Miami up a run.
You look at the Marlins All-Stars, Ozuna, the only offensive All-Star. Wish there could have been some honorable mentions because JT Realmuto definitely could have been on that list.
Well, Realmuto, Prado, Yelich. One and two.
But as the catching position, you can put together an offensive season like he has, and the development he's had behind the plate, given that it was last year he got called up, and it probably was before the Marlins wanted to call him up because of the struggles of Jared Saltalamacchia.
Realmuto up the middle into center field. That's a hit. And a big run comes across. It's 5-3.
Good piece of hitting right here by JT. Leans out on a good curveball. Good the spot on this curveball. Is able to get it up the middle for an RBI. 2-run cushion for the Marlins. That's just, hey, I got 2 strikes. I got a man in scoring position. I got to try and put it in play wherever I can.
See if he's moving here. Well, he is back to the bag, but not a bad time to run with 2 outs, a 2-run lead. And Prado up. Realmuto, 7 stolen bases. He's only been caught twice.
Probably not too many teams in the big leagues where their catcher is leading the team in stolen bases. Realmuto is 7 on the year. Danny Echeverria at 6 is in second place. Marlins just 26 stolen bases during the season.
It's the 12th time Realmuto's been in the leadoff spot. He's the first catcher in Marlins history to hit leadoff. He's running. It's a pitch out, and Phillips is late to the bag. Brandon Phillips late to the bag. The throw looked like it was pretty much on the money, and that's why you saw Barnhart slam his mask against his shin guard.
Might have been a bit of a short hop here on a pitch out, but if Brandon Phillips is there, he got a late break. It's right on the bag. You're right, Rich. Throws in plenty of time.
So stolen base, Realmuto's got 8 now, and a chance for Prado. Realmuto's running, pitches out. He's got another stolen base. Well, how about that?
I love that play. You've taught sometimes after having a play at second base, whether it be a double or a stolen base, take off that very next pitch because they're not,
and you know what,
even paying attention to it.
You know whose responsibility that is? Brandon Phillips, who didn't get to the bag in time and didn't hold the runner. Two now to Prado. It's in. Another run. A good heads up by Realmuto.
2-2 count on Martin Prado. Good fastball in, boy, just off the plate. We didn't hear the famous Martin Prado grunt on that one, so it wasn't too far in.
3-2. And he walks. Prado's walked twice in this game, and it gives Yelich an at bat. And a trip to the mound. Barnhart on his way out. And Mac Jenkins, the pitching coach for the Reds, is also on his way out. (5-3) Miami, bottom 6 here. A Yelich at bat coming, with runners at the corners. And if you're just happening by, the Marlins in this ball game were down 3-2. Tom Kohler was wobbling, and Don Mattingly cut it short. Cut the start short and went to his bullpen. Mike Dunn pitched the 5th. Nick Wittgren pitched the 6th. The Marlins took the lead in the 5th on a Stanton homer. Have added a run here, and so by cutting it short, Mattingly's bullpen so far has held the Reds to 3. And the Marlins offense, lo and behold, is pulled out in front.
I'd like to see him keep pushing, though, and keep adding on those runs.
Smith trying to catch that outside part. Reds bullpen is active. Ball and a strike to Yelich. 2 hits for Yelich. Miami's got 9 on the day. Miguel Rojas also has 2 hits, including a double. Marcell Ozuna and Martin Prado with doubles. Stanton his 20th homer. Echeverria and Real Muto with RBI singles. Yelich obviously would be one of those guys right on the cusp of an all-star invite, where his teammate, not Marcell Ozuna, Yelich may have been.
I think Christian Yelich might be kind of under the radar as far as league-wide. He doesn't have the big power numbers that Marcell Ozuna does, or some of the other outfielders that have been named, but you look at his total contribution to a team, he's definitely an all-star in my book.
He's into that top 6 or 7 in terms of doubles. He's been in the top 10 in on-base percentage just about the entire year.
7th in the league in doubles right now.
Yelich didn't get much on it, and it's going to dive for a hit. The throw to third skips by. Holding it third is Prado, and Yelich ends up at second base. And the Marlins add another run. Now, did the ball go out of play? And if it did, Prado's going to score.
They're awarding him third or a home plate.
Yes, it did. The ball went out of play. That's a throwing error on the Reds, who've had a messy series defensively. And Prado ends up scoring. It's 7-3.
Talk about a messy series, Rich. There's been a lot of different situations in these 3 games in this series that have led to big Marlins runs. This one, Yelich gets jammed. Great placement. See Hamilton come up throwing errant wide left. You can hit the back wall of that camera well, and if it goes out of play, you're awarded the base.
Yeah, that camera well has bars and a railing, but no netting, and so oftentimes if it hits a camera or John Tuitu, for example, it's out of play. But thankfully, John escaped. As it is, the Marlins lead at 7-3. Kendall Toyota called to the pen. Be at the Clevelander. Our next pregame show is next Friday. Craig Minervini joined by Preston Wilson. We'll chat with Don Mattingly from St. Louis. Second half kickoff, Marlins live. It's a 7:30 start. South Florida Honda dealers. Don Mattingly came out for a chat with the home plate umpire Ben May and the crew chief Dana DeMuth. My guess is that the discussion was if Prado was awarded home, should Yelich be awarded third? But Prado had already reached third before the ball went out. Yelich on the hit had rounded first. And here now is Stanton against Ross Ohlendorf, the former Princeton Tiger. Probably saw his most significant time in the big leagues with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Stanton, a 2-run blast his last time up. This was against the lefty Cody Reed.
Throwing that slider all day long, down and in. Giancarlo had a heck of a time at first at bat, swung over 3 in a row, walked the second at bat, and then this one got elevated. Boy, he did not miss it.
No! It's a swing. And a strike. Count 2-1.
It's close.
That's very close. Stanton's very good about his check swings. I mean, it takes immense strength to stop the swing. And obviously he's got that. So 7-3, the Marlins have pushed it to 4 here. That throwing error goes on Billy Hamilton, by the way, on the RBI single from Yelich. End of the bat, shallow left, Cozart out, Duvall in, and Duvall makes the catch. And the Marlins take advantage again. 3 more hits, 2 more runs. Miami on top. The Fish looking for a sweep, looking to finish the first half on an up note and get to 6 over before the break. MLB.com ballpark app can take you to the taste of Miami in a virtual way. Gives you a map of the ballpark. It gives you menus of the ballpark, not just Marlins Park, but any major league park. You can order food from your seats and display your game tickets as well. It's the ballpark app. You get special offers and gifts, fine parting gifts. Just ask Jeff Conine, who's got the app and has a nice set of tourister luggage for that. Get the MLB.com ballpark app today.
3-piece set.
Yes. Can't beat that. Got the carry-on.
Got the mid-range for like a 3-day, 4-day trip, and then the big boy for you go to Scotland or something like that.
Ivan DeJesus Jr. Well, I'm sure Don Mattingly's plan, you saw Kyle Barraclough up, was to try to piece it together, one reliever at a time. But with a 4-run cushion, and as well as Wittgren threw, and since his spot did not come up in the order, he was due up next. Mattingly says, why not let Wittgren throw another inning? And he's got 4 outs, so it's not a bad call.
Yeah, very economical in that first inning of work, going through 10 pitches. So Don Mattingly, 4-run cushion, feels comfortable leaving Wittgren out there.
Jose Peraza now. He'll get the at bat as he pinch hits here in the 7th. And I'm with you, Jeff Conine, when you pointed out the value of a Nick Wittgren and how he's pitched. It adds depth to what right now is a pretty deep pen. Obviously, we've got Rodney in the 8th, Ramos in the 9th. Phelps, Barraclough can pitch in the 7th or the 8th or the 6th for that matter. But Wittgren's a guy that on days where, say, 2 of those 4 are not available, you can easily plug him into the 7th or the 8th.
Yeah, he's got that kind of stuff. His control is excellent. Get some strikeouts, has more than a strikeout per inning. It's a valuable piece to have in Don Mattingly's bullpen.
Jam shot. And Rojas runs it down. So 2 outs, and it brings up Zach Cozart. The outset of the telecast, we talked about where the Marlins are in the standings, what was at stake in this ball game. And for the Fish and Don Mattingly, a win here gets them to 47 and 41. Just ahead of them in the East and in the wild card standings, the Mets, 47 and 40. So there you have it. There's your wild card. The Mets right now are trailing the Nationals 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th. And I know this is game 88, but it's significant for a franchise that has gone so long without a postseason bid to end the first half, enjoy 4 days of All-Star break, sharing that last wild card spot. So if the Nationals beat the Mets, the Marlins win this game. It's 47 and 41 for both the Marlins and the Mets. High pop up, and it's out of play.
And Donnie Mattingly said it perfectly in his press conference earlier, saying that, hey, you don't want to look at the wild card, you want to look at the division title. Are we going to be happy with 6 over going into the break? He said that's not going to get it done. You still got a lot of work to do. You still need to play every game like you're on edge, like you have to win every game from here on out. And I think that's the mindset that he's instilling in this clubhouse that's going to push these guys to keep going, because there is nothing like playing in the playoffs.
I like the way he said that, and we heard it on Marlins Live, and Craig had it earlier as well. Play with an edge. And you would expect that one is a fair ball. Prado, rather than let it hit the bag, just grazed the glove on it, but it stays fair, and that's a base hit.
The old swinging bunt still counts as a single in the scorebook. Tracking on that line, as a third baseman, there's nothing you can do other than hope it goes fair. That's a pretty true line there.
It is. With a team that's still quite young, but experienced. Into right, that's a hit. Stanton will pick it up. Reds go station to station. A hit for Hamilton follows Cozart's single. With a team that's young but experienced. Stanton, Ozuna, Yelich, they've been in the big leagues long enough. Echeverria, Dietrich, Bohr. Those are guys that have not been in the postseason and have not played on winning teams. Real Muto, not played on winning teams in the major leagues. They've had success in the minor leagues. All of this season, you can see a team learning how to win. How do you deal with the teams that are better than you? Marlins have dealt with them quite well, but had trouble in the first half against teams they should be. Now they run into the Reds, and they've taken the first two and are up 7-3 here in the final game of the series. And I think playing on the edge is kind of Don Mattingly saying, hey, that's the next step. That's the next progression. Strike to Votto.
I had a conversation with Don Mattingly regarding just that. I think it was after the Minnesota series when lost 2 out of 3 in Minnesota. They were struggling against the Atlanta Braves, and he's like, these guys, you have to teach them how to win. We're learning how to win. We have to beat the teams like the Atlanta Braves, like the Minnesota Twins, and I think you've seen it here in this series. The Marlins are a better team than the Cincinnati. They should beat these guys, and they've found ways during this series to score enough runs and pitch well enough to keep leads. And if they keep this lead, they sweep them.
Now the Reds have been ragged in the field, no doubt, but the Marlins have taken advantage and piled on some runs in key spots in this series and in this game in particular. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
When you look at overall team defense, Cincinnati second to the last in the National League, just above San Diego and St. Louis. Have not helped themselves defensively this series.
That's strike 3 called outside corner. Votto doesn't like it. Nick Wickren 2 scoreless. Marlins up on a Sunday. That guy's a clown. 7-3. Pitch. That's what we do. Josh Bell, grand slam, second major league at bat. It was a pinch hit grand slam as well. Brian McCann, the Yankees beat the Indians. That's tough to do these days. And Daniel Murphy, the Mets just can't get him out. He actually homered today as well. The Nationals lead the Mets 3-2. Marlins part, Fish on top, 7-3. 7th inning stretch. Rich Waltz along with Jeff Conine for the Marlins. Here's that the opportunity we talked about at the start of the series, Snyder, and that was you've got a Reds team in. You have an opportunity to get momentum into the break, and so far Miami has done a nice job of that.
Yeah, they've taken advantage of the Reds, who have the 3rd worst record in all of baseball behind the Braves and the Twins. Those teams that the Marlins have had a tough time with in the first half.
And I think the bullpen is certainly a storyline here. A storyline in this series, you know, the Rodney Ramos combo at the end. But of course, Don Mattingly yesterday went with 4 relievers to get those last 4 innings. And in this one, it was an early hook for Tom Kohler.
Yeah, early hook. I think Don Mattingly wanted to make sure that they gave themselves the best chance to win. He gave up 5 hits, consecutive hits in the inning prior. So, hey, I've got a rested bullpen. They got nothing to do tomorrow, most of them. So let's go inning by inning from here on out.
All right, before I let you go here, question for you. What is your most anticipated All-Star moment?
Most anticipated, Marcell Ozuna's first at bat. I mean, just in speaking with him and how excited he is, like a little kid.
Who's the man behind the?
There's the man behind the curtain.
There
is that
was.
Oz?
It's like the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Jeff.
But I think he's just going to be out of his skin. So excited to be in that All-Star game.
No, I want to see Ozuna. Although, you know, the thought of Jose Fernandez starting.
That would be big as well.
That would be big as well. But I'm with you. I think Ozuna. I think Ozuna in that starting lineup and that first at bat is going to be fun. Raciel Iglesias is in for the Reds. So any of you at home who had wondered what John Chimchuk, our baseball historian, looked like, you saw a brief glimpse of it.
It's like, where's Waldo?
Yes, the wise and all-powerful Oz.
Behind the curtain.
Ozuna, Johnson, and Rojas.
Do you think we might see if
yes,
Jose Fernandez starts that game? I think we might see a few pitches that touch 100 miles an hour.
Oh, I think you will. Obviously, in that second spot this inning is Nick Whitgren. So that's why you saw Ichiro on deck. So as a special added bonus, you get an Ichiro at bat here against Iglesias. His breaking ball misses out. It's 3-2. Iglesias, one of the better arms out of the Reds' pen. There's 3-2. Is out. And so Ichiro gets to hit with a runner at first, and that'll open up that right side because Votto's going to have to hold the runner, so maybe. And a march to 3,000. 2,990. He is 10 away. And he stands in now.
Rich, here we are at the All-Star break, and you know the Marlins wanted Ichiro to average at least 11 hits per month to get to that 3,000 milestone. And here we're at the All-Star. He's got 55 hits already. He only needed 65 coming into this year. He's got 55 by the All-Star break.
Fastball, a strike. The starts for Ichiro over the last week have dried up, and a lot of that has to do with health. The health of Stanton's swing. Ichiro got a lot of starts when the Marlins were trying to rehab Stanton. Did not start him against some tough righties. Ichiro got those starts. Flips that one foul and out of play. Remember, Ozuna had a sore wrist that bothered him for a few days. Ichiro got those starts.
Christian Yelich had a bit of a back ailment for 4 or 5 days.
Yelich had a back issue, and then you had some American League games in which Ichiro plays when either an outfielder DHs or Ichiro DHs. But this last week, everybody's healthy, everybody's hot. Stanton's back, Yelich is swinging it, Ozuna's swinging it, and so it's pinch hits for Ichiro.
And I think that was the concern of maybe Ichiro and the Marlins. Will he get enough at bats this year to get that 65 hits that he needed to reach 2,000?
0-2. And hit him. And Ichiro hit by the pitch on a slider. It looked like he got his back foot.
That had been shin or knee. That looked, and it was a solid contact.
Ichiro, as the trainer comes out, Ichiro doesn't want any part of that. It says here.
He said, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Let's see which leg.
Back right on the knee. Ouch. That does not feel good.
So Ichiro at first base, Ozuna at second, and here is Rojas. Rojas has doubled, singled, bounced out. And continuing the Ichiro talk, this is a day where you would expect, if this were a May or a June in the middle of, Ichiro would be in the lineup. You'd be giving one of the outfielders a day off. But there's 4 days off coming, so there's no need to rest anybody. And you would expect, once the second half starts, Ichiro will get back into playing in the day game after night game. Any bumps and bruises for any of the outfielders, he would get that start. Marlins have 3 more games with the DH, 3 games in Cleveland. And that's in early September. You would expect he will have reached that 3,000 well before then.
Well, one thing that Don Mattingly has no problem putting into the game, because he's hitting 335 and playing great defense. There's been no slowdown on the defensive abilities of Ichiro out there. He's played a very solid defense, and obviously with the bat has been pretty amazing.
1-2. And Rojas strikes out, and that's the stuff that Iglesias has. Here comes Echeverria.
A big, huge sweeping break on this slider. Perfect pitch to go along with his 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
A pair of Cubans matching up here. Iglesias, 26. Makes his off-season home in Sunrise.
Yeah!
That's Phillips with Bruce behind him, and Phillips makes the catch. And so Iglesias, after walking Ozuna, hitting Ichiro, has a couple outs. And here's Don Kelly. Got Real Muto on deck. Kelly came in when the Marlins started the bullpen chain, so to speak. Shoots that ground ball over to third. To Jesus across the diamond in time. Miami leaves 2. 8th inning rolls around. 7-3 Fish. Coors Banquet Beer brings you this timeless moment. 1962, JFK, first president to throw out an all-star first pitch. And that was at RFK. Obviously back then it was District of Columbia Stadium. Back in 1962, the National League would beat the American League 3-1. Now RFK sits, and I believe their only occupant now is the soccer team, but that's going to end. DC United is, I believe, building their own stadium, so RFK may be no more.
The Nationals came into existence. They blew the dust off RFK, and we played some baseball there.
There was a lot of dust.
There was a lot of dust. It had been sitting idle for a long time, and just the corridors were covered in dust. You could tell it was.
Yeah, no Redskins and no.
Because FedEx Field had been built at that time.
No Washington Senators. Bear Claw now. First pitch. Bruce lifts it center field. Ozuna runs it down. Well struck. But one pitch and an out here in the 8th. Ozuna pointing to the warning track. There's a big divot there. Adam Duvall. And a strike. This was a Tom Kohler start. 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs. Mike Dunn a scoreless inning. Nick Whitgren 2 scoreless innings. And Bear Claw here.
Came in last night for David Phelps and got out of a jam. Only a third of an inning pitched. Talked about him before, but owns a 15.17 strikeout per 9 inning rate, which tops National League relievers and ranks 3rd among all relievers in baseball.
Good news for the Fish. The Nationals have defeated the Mets 3-2. The Mets are 47 and 41. And Kyle Bearclaw strikes out Adam Duvall. And if the Marlins hold this lead, they will be 47 and 41 going into the break. And those two teams, Marlins and Mets, will share that second wild card position.
The second best winning percentage in Marlins history going into the break.
That's right. Daniel Murphy homering again, a 2-run homer. 7 homers already this year against his old team, the Mets. Now, look, Todd Walker's having a terrific year too. So, but it's just the fact that Murphy is doing it against the Mets. I think the Mets are quite happy with Walker's play.
I think you always want to show the team that hey, you might have parted ways amicably and everything was fine, but I think you always want to show them, hey, this is what you got rid of. And we saw that earlier this year with Logan Morrison. He had a tremendous series against the Marlins while in Tampa Bay.
Did you have any big moments of revenge or take that? That you embellished with a bat flip?
Did not do that, but
someday I'm going to get you to admit.
I swear I don't really think I did.
Not against the Marlins or against the Orioles or against the Royals.
When I was with the Orioles, we played the Marlins at Pro Player, and I do remember hitting a home run there. But there was no bat flipping, no watching.
Did you, as a Marlin, play the Royals because that was your first major league team?
We did go to Kansas City and play the Royals in interleague.
Aside from getting good barbecue after the game, did you have any big moments?
Probably not, because I can't recall. You always recall the big moments or the really bad ones. So I think I was just a neutral there.
2-2. So the biggest moment on your trip was the burnt ends at Arthur Bryant's.
Oh, man.
Or a trip to the Negro League Museum.
Yes, both great spots there in Kansas City, but Arthur Bryant's making my mouth water. And a Double-A, Memphis. Played for the Memphis Chicks. Pretty good barbecue at the Rendezvous right downtown there.
Beale Street.
Yes.
2-2. Breaking ball. Phillips to right. Stanton is there. How about this bullpen? Mike Dunn an inning. Nick Wickren 2 innings. Kyle Barraclough an inning. All scoreless in a 7-3 lead. Marlins on top. Fish and Reds and all the other baseball teams are just waiting for you behind the curtain of MLB at bat. Stay up to the moment. Game day is cool. You get all the StatCast stuff on game day. Live game video highlights, also very cool. News, not as cool, but it's interesting. Download MLB.com at bat, #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. You get every team's schedule, every team's roster, every team's disabled list.
It's on my phone. It's my go-to.
Real Muto. I like the fact that this last couple of years they added pronunciations.
That helps me a lot.
On all the bios of all the players. JT, a nice series. Had 2 hits yesterday, an RBI single, 2 more stolen bases.
I was actually corrected one time on JT's name. Someone on Twitter had heard me say Ryumuto, and he's like, no, it's Muto. I've not made that mistake since.
I asked JT that when he first arrived on the scene last year, because there's a lot of people weren't sure about it. And he said, just like muting your phone, but not MLB at bat.
Right.
Right. Right. Here's a 2-1. That's the funny thing in sports, because there are some guys who get to the big leagues whose names are mispronounced, but they don't feel they're in a position to correct anyone. Nolan Arenado is a great example of that, known as Nolan Arenado for his first few years in the big leagues. Echeverria certainly is.
That's a gimme. That's a tough one to.
And Real Muto swings and strikes out. And Arenado of the Rockies wasn't until he made a public address recording this year for the Denver airport, and in it he identified himself as, I'm Nolan Arenado, and everyone said, wait a minute.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. You mispronounced your own name. There's Prado.
As of the Dominican Republic, I didn't bother with correcting them in the pronunciation of my name.
How did they pronounce you in the winter leagues in the Dominican?
Jess Conine.
Here's the 0-1. And a strike. Oh, that actually has a nice ring to it.
Yes, Jess Conine, primera base.
That could be your alter ego. Your alias.
That's my pen name.
0-2. Iglesias kind of nasty with the sidearm, wicked slider stuff. Almost a Jeff Nelson type look.
He changes arm angles. He's got an overhand 95 fastball, and then he's got that 94, 95 sidearm, and a big sweeping slider.
That time more of a conventional arm slot. Foul back to the screen.
Good sidearm there and got up to 96. Best fastball we've seen by him today.
There's that whipping breaking ball. How about Prado walking 3 times today? Now, John Chimchun, briefly introduced, is our baseball historian, and I'm confident that John right now is trying to find the record for Martin Prado for walks in a game.
And when was the last time 3 walks in a game happened?
I'll bet it's happened before, but I doubt he's ever walked 4 times in a game. Yelich now, 3 hits for him. And we were quickly supplied with the 4th time in Prado's career. He's walked 3 times in a game, but he has never walked 4 times in a game. Yelich pulls that one, and that is foul and out of play. You may have noticed that on the sleeve of the Reds is a Bernie patch. That's for Bernie Stowe, the longtime clubhouse guy in Cincinnati, passed away this offseason. He started his career as a bat boy in 1947. He was 80 years old when he passed, a fixture in Cincinnati. I believe his sons are also running the both the home and the visiting clubhouse there.
Yep, they're there now, and that's who was running the clubhouses when I was there.
Yelich with a 1-2 count. Stanton on deck. Iglesias. And he got Yelich on that breaking ball. 2nd strikeout. And here comes Stanton.
He's got a plus slider, Iglesias. When you get Christian Yelich to swing on a pitch that far of the strike zone, you know it's got some great movement. Stanton with a big blast of this game. That huge 2-run homer to give the Marlins the lead back after they had gone down 3-2.
That was in the 5th. Boy, whenever you see a catcher set up that low and that far outside, you know it's a slider. And Iglesias threw a perfect one there. See where he sets up here. And he goes back out.
Does not fish. Stanton, we saw when he was in his slump, was swinging at that pitch often, but now recognizing them and getting better pitches to hit. You look at Cody Reed on the start. He was dominant for quite some time, and then Stanton connected on that 2-run homer.
Iglesias fled Cuba in November of 2013 after a failed attempt in September of 13. Fled to Haiti and then arrived in Miami in 2014. Watched a Marlins game before heading to Cincinnati after having signed with the Reds. Strike 3 called. Down goes Stanton. Iglesias strikes out 3 in the 8th. To the 9th. 7-3 fish. Low fares, nothing to hide. By Dodge, visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. That is what the All-Star break is about for most of us. Not the 5 guys that are headed there, but the rest of us.
5 guys, good burgers.
Yes. Though I think if you go to San Diego, it's In and Out.
Oh, 100%. That's a staple. Every time you go out to the West Coast, you got to get an In-N-Out burger.
Dustin McGowan takes the baton from Kyle Bearclaw. And this is Tucker Barnhart. Bounces it back to McGowan, got the gate down, flips it to first. You have to give credit to Don Mattingly, I think, who pulled the plug on Tom Kohler in the 4th. Kohler had given up 3 runs, 7 hits, did not look that effective. And the Marlins were down a run at the time, and Mattingly looked like at the time decided, you know what, I got a full bullpen, let's go that route. And it's paid off.
And he's been able to use pieces of the Marlins bullpen that haven't been used in some time. Dustin McGowan, this is his first appearance since July 2nd, we saw Nick Whitgren. He's only had 2 appearances in the month of July. And Mike Dunn came in and had a clean inning.
And Mattingly is hoping that McGowan has a clean inning, and so he doesn't have to get Ramos or Rodney heated up.
Yeah, you see Ramos down the bullpen right now, just kind of lightly tossing, just keeping an eye on the situation here during the game. Sure, if they get a base runner on, then he'll start getting more serious about it.
And you know, one trademark of Miami's wins throughout the first half, they really haven't had that many blowout wins.
They have not.
They don't have a huge run differential. A lot of their wins have been close, which means you're going to your 7th, 8th, and 9th inning guy a lot. The Marlins lead the National League in saves, which is a byproduct, I guess, of that.
Yeah, you look at their run differential, they're actually -3.
They've lost some blowout games. They just haven't won a lot of them.
Chicago Cubs are a nice 138, +138.
Though they have been, over the last 3 weeks, struggling. No one misses down in the dirt. The Cubs are on top of the Pirates 6-5, bottom 8. If you haven't heard, Daniel Murphy hit another homer against the Mets, and the Nationals beat him 3-2. So if Miami wins this game, they'll pull dead even with the Mets and into a tie for that second wild card spot.
Damn it!
Bouncer to short. We apologize. Lo siento. Even Jeff Conine would apologize for that.
Yes, it's passionate. You get out there, you want to do something, and when it doesn't happen, you might get a little angry at yourself. Although that's something I never did.
Duly noted.
Right,
McGowan.
right, Mom?
Yes. That's right. She'll be calling tonight.
Yes.
Ramon Cabrera, who caught in last night's ball game, is going to pinch hit here with 2 outs. And McGowan misses down low. So an out away from a sweep of the Reds, an out away from a share of the wild card, and an out away from the All-Star break. A lot of things to like on this Sunday in Miami for what is still a young ball club, even though they've got a 42-year-old who's chasing 3,000. He acts like one of the young guys.
He plays like one of the young guys. You would never know the way Ichiro interacts with Jose Fernandez, who's 16 years his junior.
And I think too, we talk about Ichiro having a better year this year. A big chunk of that is due to a much better environment. Don Mattingly, Barry Bonds, Tim Wallach. Team is winning. Chopper Echeverria. Ball game, and the first half ends with a sweep of the Reds. And the Marlins are 6 over, tied with the Mets, second in the East, tied for that second wild card spot. Giancarlo is back. He homers again. And the Marlins come from behind twice and win this ball game 7-3. Marlins Live, brought to you by Checkers, is coming up. Post-game clubhouse reaction. Don Mattingly, players. Obviously, comments about this game, but many of them, I'm sure, will be about the first half and the All-Star game, with 5 Marlins headed there, 4 to play in the game, and of course Giancarlo to compete in the home run derby. And McGowan completes what was a real nice relay run for the bullpen here. Mike Dunn an inning, Nick Whitgren 2 innings, Kyle Barraclough an inning, and McGowan a scoreless inning as well. Well done in relief for Tom Kohler. You know, an afternoon where 22,000 were here to watch it. The Marlins complete their second most successful first half in club history in terms of winning percentage. Only the '97 team had a better first half winning percentage than the 2016 bunch. And so the Fish win it, and Jeff Conine, a well-deserved rest for everybody, but the Marlins would love to bottle this up and then open it up Friday night in St. Louis.
Yeah, it's almost you've got so much momentum right now and you're feeling so good as a team. You almost don't want it to end, and you don't want to mess it up with 4 days off.
Well, look, I mean, a lot of things happened in this series. Giancarlo Stanton is back, that we know. But the bullpen was outstanding in this ballgame. They obviously yesterday and today stepped up big time.
Yeah, big time, and that's what you need. You need a deep bullpen to go for this championship run that the Marlins hope to go on the second half. And Don Mattingly said it the best: you're going to have every piece contribute.
And a great number of players contributing with terrific first halves. One of them joins us now, and that's JT Realmuto, a guy that certainly was all-star worthy, but he gets to take the break. And JT, first of all, congratulations on the win today and the sweep of the Reds.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, let's talk about your ball club right now. You have momentum going into the All-Star break. You've caught the Mets. What's the significance of that going into the break?
I mean, it's huge for us. Just kind of gaining that momentum into the All-Star break. It was nice to come out here and play well these last 3 games, kind of get back on our feet and get back going in the right direction. So hopefully we can carry that up after the break.
Talk about the job that this bullpen has done today and in the first half of this season. It's been an integral part of Marlins' success.
Yeah, I mean, it's been huge for us. Honestly, we've been wearing those guys out because we've had 1- and 2-run leads almost every game, and those guys are getting thrown out there. So it was nice tonight to get a 4-run lead and kind of get the other guys a chance. And every time they've come through the game, they've done a great job for us. So the bullpen's just been phenomenal all around.
JT, in discussions with Don Mattingly, one of the things he said is this is still a relatively young team in age with some major league experience, learning how to win at the big league level. Now, you've won in the minor league level. You won championships at the minor league level. What is this process like, especially this year compared to last year?
I mean, I just feel like as a group we have a lot more confidence this year. Like you said, we were young last year. We're still young this year, but we've all got more and more time under our belts every day. And there's a lot of good talent in that locker room and a lot of great guys. And when you combine that together with a little bit of confidence, it makes for a winning team. So hopefully we can keep that going.
Talk about your maturity behind the plate and the way you call a game. The pitchers all the time praise how you've come a long way. What do you attribute that to? And has Jeff Mathis really helped you mature as a catcher behind the plate?
Absolutely. I mean, Matty helps me every day with scouting reports. He helps me during the game. He's been huge for me. And then also Juan Nieves, the pitching coach, going over the scouting report and going over the opposing hitters. That's helped me tremendously. And got to tip my hat to the pitchers. They're the ones that make the pitches and do the right thing. So I got to give it to those guys.
JT, the Marlins traditionally are a team that is off the radar, so to speak, a lot, especially last year. But for your team, and I know you, Prado, Yelich, there's a group of guys that have all-star type numbers that aren't going to San Diego. But 4 Marlins are playing in that game. Marcell Ozuna is starting in the game. Jose may start as well. Stanton's in the all-star. What does it mean for the organization, for you personally, to see 5 Marlins in uniform in San Diego?
I mean, it's awesome. For this whole group, we cheer for those guys that are going. Obviously, us guys that got left out, we feel like we've done well this season. We're just going to keep it up next for the second half. It's huge for our guys to be able to see our Marlins uniforms on that field in the All-Star game and give us a vote of confidence going into the second half.
Well, terrific first half for you. Have a great All-Star break. Thanks for the visit. And we'll see you on Friday night in St. Louis.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Thanks,
good one.
JT.
All right, JT Realmuto. What a great first half from a young catcher who has such a bright future for the Fish. JT Realmuto and the Marlins sweep the Reds. 47 wins in the first half. Their second best winning percentage in a first half in team history. Marlins Live is next.